Why, hello there. Welcome to our Link to the Past randomized daily race here on Speed Gaming 2. We have ourselves a spoiler open race, and this will be the match between Zelka Dasan and Magno amongst a party amongst 3 other runners, making a total of 5. I'm Professor Bender, and joining me is Specs. I don't believe we've come together, but I know you and Jossie come together.
Yep, I've commented a few times at Drosy. I've commented once, spoiler open before, but I'm looking forward to commenting with you, Renderer, today. Should be a fun race. We've got some great runners. Should be a good time.
Yep, and for the record, I'm not responsible for the seed being this bad. Jaxie was the one who rolled it. Jaxie was the one who rolled it last night, and I will not forgive him for what he trying to steal my title as the most cursed player. But anyway, spoiler. Everyone knows what's there. People could join the seed. Could join in the runners can look at the race stream at any time they want. They could come in and chat because, well, everyone they know where everything's at. So
yeah, and both of them started at Link's house, which gives them a nice blue potion safety already, which is super nice to have. And getting bombs here and a little bit of magic just makes sense. I don't know if there's anything else here. I know there's some stuff in Escape if they want it. I don't know when they're going to route that in. We'll see.
Yeah, one of the big things about spoiler is that for those who don't usually, we don't see a whole spoiler, but one of the big things about spoiler is getting resources quick and easy, and using and a ton, and I mean a ton of execution. It is execution is of the essence. Went for a tier 2 pull and or tier 3 or whatever, tier 2, tier 3, and for good reason. That's just bombs.
And yeah, and as Chatham mentioned, this would be a slight spoiler. We're trying not to spoil too much this race, but both the players here are going to go to the front of Escape because there is a bow in here. There is another bow in the game that's not too hard to get, so you could arguably skip this one and not get Silvers and get the other bow. So interesting decision that Magno and Zelda are both going for this early bow and investing all this time in the front of Escape. I'd be interested to know if it was, the fastest way to route it. It's a really tough call. And they're also getting these boots. So, yeah, getting the boots. Nice early boots. But now if you want to get this other bow, you gotta go a bit deeper in.
I always appreciate the fact that I will always love a bomb escape because it is basically the ultimate test of skill, at least in my opinion. You get and that's why I always like bomb starts whenever it's standard random swords like the tournament mode standard boots.
Nice strats there by Zelga.
Nice. Because for a lot of reasons. First of all, you get you get access to the back of Escape even when you don't have the boots. And then another thing is it's also, like I mentioned, the ultimate test of skill.
Yeah, because I mean, with the better practice, it's not too hard to just kill all the guards with bombs, but to do it efficiently and quickly and not waste bombs takes some more practice, and there's definitely like different levels of execution to it. And one thing to note is Magno did grab the second chest, the boomerang chest, where Zelda skipped it. It only had 20 rupees, but Zelda decided those 20 rupees weren't worth the time to open the chest, even though they were in the room.
Now, go ahead.
No,
okay. So, yeah, it's I mean, I can see it because again, it's very important to know what your resources are, what your rupees and stuff are.
Yeah.
In spoiler, you want to know where all your resources are, and which ones can be easily accessible, which ones can be skipped, stuff like that.
And we have a divergence here. Zelga's choosing to go ahead and do Saha, was Magno's going to get some bombs out of that bonk rock. We're going to farm some bombs, and they're going to do probably the cack area first. Get some mushroom. We do need that mushroom today, so it makes sense to go there. What else was in Saha?
And
okay, no, that's all you Saha. Never mind.
Yeah. So here's I'll actually go ahead and talk about the sprites as well. Our sprites are Freya from Final Fantasy IX, which is appropriate because Zelda's MSU is Final Fantasy IX, and Magna is running Yoshi, with his MSU being the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles.
And dive off there, so Magno gets the glove and hook out of blinds there. Obviously, great items that we need. And Zelda took the time to do Bonk Rock to get the magic powder. I'll go and tell you guys that we do not need magic bat today, so Zelda is choosing to grab that powder out of Bonk Rocks just to have it as a safety for heals, primarily in GT or Total Rock down the road. So that's a choice that looks like Magno did not make. So Zelda will have that safety, but will have the time loss for grabbing that magic powder. So interesting choice by Zelda. And yeah, half magic here in Chicken House. I feel like most people would say that half magic is worth the time investment, especially this early in the seed. It'll make a lot of dungeons and routing easier to have that much magic in supply.
Yeah, and I do think the powder pickup from Zelda does make a little bit of sense, just because of the fact that if you can, spoiler races tend for the most advanced of the player for advanced players, they're more comfortable doing low percent fights.
Yeah.
It's also just nice to have in the back pocket, just in case you need a fairy revive, like a fairy, or if you got a bug net, just get revives and stuff. And
things to note: both our players got the Moonpool off Bottle Merchant. That's why they were farming a little bit of money, not a lot, just a little, because they needed the 100 rupees. To get Moonpool off Merchant, very required item. And then they both got Bombos, which tells us, they would need these Bombos to get into Ice Palace later, or they needed to open up either Maya or Total Rock, which Maya and Total Rock are both crystals today. Actually, we know Total Rock's already a Bombos medallion. See that on the tracker. So the Bombos is required for TR access, and they also both got the cape out of the top of Cackwell, which is one of the best safety items you can have in this game. Having cape really allows you to have a lot less health and mail and resources, and is super useful.
Yeah, it also helps with like I mentioned before, the low percent fights. It's it's basically like a get out of jail free card, and combine that with half magic, you can basically just get through most of the fights with just of a fight on low hearts, and you still be able to at least get a little ways in. Not sure, it's not that like you could complete the entire boss with the cape, but it's nice to have.
Yeah, it's really helpful. Yeah, it makes a huge difference, and it also helps a lot of like room clears are not a lot faster because you can just cape through a lot of rooms that could do a lot of damage to you. Because when you're at low health, a lot of rooms become way scarier if you don't have cape. Like the conveyor hallway in Thieves Town becomes a little more of a nuisance, or even parts of the GT climb. But having that cape makes it so much easier. Like you can get to the rooms a lot safer, not have to risk with bad enemy RNG and taking damage. You can know reliably I can get through that room, and with the half magic, as you said, also help you out, just knowing that you can abuse that cape. And getting through a lot of the rooms in this game now are going to be a lot easier because our players are going to know I have powder, I have cape, I have half magic. I have much better ways, and they have boots and sort of. It's room navigation is not going to be too bad this seed. Also noting that Magno did take the time to go grab the powder out of Bonk Rocks as they went up mountain, which makes some sense. Equal time as to what Zelda did is grabbing it before they went into Kakariko, I would say.
Yeah, it looks like also Magno is taking the opportunity to go for the 50-50 bombs. Nice. Another thing to note too is that Magno did go down to 1 heart when rescuing the old man. Now, had Magno died there, deaths are definitely very costly in spoiler, because you have 50 minutes to formulate a route. And you can't afford to die because that puts you farther and farther behind the pack. So, I think but in this case, I think the deficit wouldn't be that severe because you get the checkpoints. but it is still something you want to avoid.
Yeah, I would say what you would want to do here is, I mean, you can make if Magno had just grabbed it and got the heal from Old Man, then he could have more aggressively gone to the right with dealing with the rocks and the dead rocks. But he also knows those 2 hearts that can heal you in the bottom of Paradox, or yeah. So I probably would do the same thing as Magno and just skip the health. But that's an argument you made that you can be a little more aggressive. You don't have to worry about your health if you just took the heal off of Old Man. But I think generally everyone's gonna want to grab that Old Man save and quit for later, because later on you get Flute. Then it's a great way to get a quick heal versus like Sync. That heal's gonna be a pain. Our players are gonna want that health either from a Sync heal, or even Link's house or Mountain. But the Mountain's gonna how many save and quits you're probably gonna do this whole race. Once you get Flute, like it's gonna make up the time to have that nice save and quit and quick heal, quick walk out of the room. So. How about the time here? And let's see what we've gotten so far. We got both players did choose to grab the silvers out of Paradox, and now they're heading into Super Bunny and probably Hookshot Cave.
Yeah, I think this is fine because since both players know that they don't need to do Super Bunny Cave, they can just rush over to Hookshot Cave.
Yeah. And they have to act this way because there's no hammer to go through TR. So, makes sense. A nice hard container there in Hookshot Cave. Definitely. And there's our Flute. Yep, you can buy Old Man and they'll be able to move around very quickly. And Mirror. We have access to Maya area and Desert Palace already. Hookshot Boots and Flute. We have... And Mirror, we have like all 4 movement items. This is fantastic, honestly. Should be a nice fast seed.
Yeah, and this tends to be the case with spoiler opens, where with spoilers in general, because since you know where everything's at, time is generally a lot lower for more skilled players. So it wouldn't be surprising to see like either Zelda or Magno finish this race with like under an hour.
Yes. Yep. Even including the 15 minutes of study time. Yeah. Totally capable. And this is a seed where, aggro wasn't required. That's huge time save. You already know that's huge time save. And then having all these boots and all these great early items. And we already have Silver's Master Sword. We already have a pretty solid Ganon fight. If you got no more swords the rest of this race, you wouldn't be too unhappy. So unless the next sword, one of the other 2 swords, is really convenient, it wouldn't be surprising if our players don't even grab another sword.
Yeah, it's more on how comfortable are you to what's the best equipment, offense and defense can you make for this seed, and will my opponents do something different than that? Are they not comfortable with that? Do they want an extra sword? Do they want extra armor? Stuff like that. And that's the beauty of spoilers, is that you since you know where the items are, you can also just like pull up everyone else's stream and just see where everyone's at, because it doesn't really matter because everyone knows where everything's at.
And Zelda just dove right into Mini Mold'em just to get Quake for Mario access later. Nothing else. Just the Quake. That's it. And then Magno choosing to do that later, which is totally fine. You only got to grab that Quake before you go into Meyer. So you can do it pretty much any time. But then Magno has not gone to Saha yet to get the mushroom, which is fine. Just had not noticed that.
Yeah, I think Magno's route was wanting to put it later. But since Zelda got the fire rod, they sooner or later, I believe Magno would want to head down to South Shore to get the Quake and then the fire rod, because that is still on the docket.
Yeah, you want to get that fire rod relatively soon, and then obviously this hammer, you want that. So it makes sense that they are both ready to grab this hammer until they have the flute, because they're like, we can get by on Mountain without hammer. We don't need to go to Dark World yet, except Dark Death Mountain, which you don't need the hammer for. You have Titans. So it made sense that they both the leg that hammer get from the push chop. Yeah. And I guess there's an argument there is, Magno was able to flute over to Saha, which argument might be a little bit faster. Plus, you can just flute away from Saha, so it might have been might be a slight improvement. Although Zelka got bombs out of it earlier, so which probably was why he actually did it earlier, was to get bombs for Kak. Oh, and we're seeing Spike Keeve here. Cool. Okay. Another reason why you want half magic in a cake.
Yeah, just the increased time in general, just for doing the cape, it doesn't like burn as fast. Now if this was like if this was a race, this Samaria spot, like this, if this was like a blind race, this Samaria spot would be absolutely terrible.
Yes, this is one of those moments you're glad this is a spoiler, because that's Samaria. You know, Spike Cave, some people took it early, and some people will route it in much later. It can make a huge disparity in how people do. I do think it's funny that we've had two almost vanilla positions. We had Fire Rod and Ice Rod Cave, and then we had Samaria and Spike Cave, where you normally would find Borna. So a couple interesting item locations.
Yeah, just definitely interesting ones. Here comes Magno getting the Fire Rod. Now, I don't know if Magno will want to pair that up with getting the Quake out of Mini Moldorm, or that will be probably later on when he's going to Mire. I would assume he would be doing it now, which is because you're in the area.
And you're thinking about it, and then you don't have to worry about forgetting it later when you go to Mire. Be like, oh wait, I never grabbed that Quake that I thought I grabbed. Yeah, I agree with you. It's probably better to just do it now, as you both are. Well, it's because it won't get any faster to do it later. So you're just risking forgetting if you don't do it sooner.
Yeah, it's basically just more of a save. It's just more of a safe bet to just get it now and just not avoid it and just not wait until a little later on, because time is of the essence. You can't afford to miss out on a routing error or a execution error.
Yes.
So
nice big key at pod.
Yeah, that's not a nice. Or that's a nice spot, really. Like, that's not terrible. And understandably, knowing that this is the logic, this is the key layout where you can just go to the boss now. Zelka's gonna go ahead and fight the boss. Now, I don't know if there's anything else left in pod other than that big key spot, like that nice big key positioning. Or this is just something that Zelka just doing first, and then there is an item there, and he's gonna head back.
Yeah, so I looked at the whole spoiler log. So, unfortunately, this is basically it. Pod actually is very empty today, so they pretty much have no reason to go to the back. Also, interestingly, Magno's doing Eastern first. Both are required dungeons, and it doesn't really matter which one you do first. It's interesting they're making different choices here. But yeah, Pod has basically nothing. All Pod has is in the back. It has one of your mail upgrades. So if you don't do the back, you miss out on one of your mail upgrades. But no other vital items are in Pod today, or even that many safeties.
Yeah, in which in that case you can afford to leave that cape behind, or that bail behind, because because of the fact that the small key and big key were on the Bowlock side, you'd be wasting time to get that mail upgrade. And there's no reason which means there's no reason to do it.
Yeah, unless like, an ice rod already out of Compass Chest, Eastern Palace, nice. That's a pretty nice ice rod placement. Like, no one's going to skip that when Eastern Palace is required. So this would be a nice team to play, Ice Rod Rise. And there's our third sword. So we got a very comfy Ganon fight today. Minus low health. It's a pretty nice Ganon fight.
Yeah, the runners these are very skilled players that we're talking about here. Zelga and Magno have been well-established runners for a good while, so they're more than comfortable of doing a low percent fight, and they're more comfortable. They're very much comfortable doing a spoiler log with that low amount of health. Now, of course, there's nice stuff like you know, the ice rod and the sword. And this sword, um, this sword play, to get the sword first for Magno makes a whole lot of sense. Just because, hey, it'll help with the fight a little bit more. Even though we are just going to be just using this, although realistically speaking, that we might just use a silver arrow to take it out. But
yeah, so you actually for pod, that's probably something that Magno probably didn't think through all the way. Because realistically, going pod first would be faster here because tempered will not speed up pod at all. Because you just said you'll use silvers on Helma, and there's no other enemies that you need to kill with the sword on the way to Helma. And by doing Eastern first, you have to do one more mirror condition because you're going to mirror to Eastern. Then go back to the portal, go into the beat pod. Then you have to mirror again when you leave in order to flute away. So I'd say it's a slight, like, you know, it's like 2 mirror portals slower for Magno to do it this way. So not really gonna matter a whole lot. But if you were nitpicking on routing, Zelga's approach would be a little bit faster here.
Yeah, it's just a minor little detail of anything. So yeah. And if you haven't really noticed already, this is effectively Go, because since the runners know everything, they can just go and finish the game now. They just need to just go for the optimal route, the optimal dungeon route.
Yeah, that's a good point, Bingo. I haven't thought about that yet, because they don't need the lamp. They have the 2 required medallions. Flippers are not required today, because we don't need to go into swamp because we have all our needed items otherwise. And for some only reason you ever have to get flippers. And even Ice Palace is a pendant. Of course, you could break the logic, but... So yeah, you're right, we are in Go mode. Immunity... We can't put next equipment. So the only thing we might see are like a couple more safeties picked up and hearts on the way, if they're convenient. But that's about it. And then, like, you know, arrows and stuff, perhaps, if they're convenient as well.
Right. So, yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, you go.
Nah, you go. I didn't have much to say.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't really have much to point out other than just, like, we'll just see what Zelda decides to do for the routes. And this looks like this is gonna be a skull thieves, like a skull was thieves play. Going for thieves first.
Yeah, because in this situation, when you do skull and you finish it up, you're just gonna want to mirror back at the end, like when you leave the dungeon from beating Mothula and just flute away. So yeah, you wouldn't want to do. In fact, actually, what they'll probably do is thieves, then go up to skull again, and then mirror and flute away. I would imagine.
And to answer a question in the chat, yes, this is an FF9 MSU. This is being run by Zokazazan, who appropriately has a Freya Crescent sprite. And Magno, when we switch audio to him, he's playing with the Great Ace Attorney, that awesome somewhat pseudo spin-off game that still has the same Ace Attorney mechanics, but just set at a different time period. Awesome stuff. And it took like several years to get it to get a localized port.
Dang.
It was a 3DS game, and for a while it stayed in Japan. It lived off of a fan translation. It wasn't until like the Chronicles collection, the Chronicles release on Switch that it got a fully an official English release.
Okay, interesting. And by the way, this is where Lamp's at. I expect Zelda will probably grab it because it's probably enough time saved throughout the rest of the run. Yeah, with Meyer and TR and Ganon, you just go and grab that. That's a very easy lamp. Be pretty bold decision. I appreciate it being like a time loss unless you're like somehow amazing in dark rooms. To do that, I'm pretty sure nobody is. Honestly, not a bad lamp.
Yeah, this is a very nice one, and I think that may be one of the reasons why Magno, or Zelda and Magno, wanted to head over to Thieves Town and or going to Thieves Town. Just because the lamp is very convenient.
Yeah, because the options here are basically so you'll do desert. Also, you can do Total Rock last. So that's gonna be your last dungeon. So that way you'll be right next to GT. So you'll combine these Town and School Woods together, and then you'll combine Mire and Desert together. So if you weren't doing these in School Woods right now, you'd be doing Mire and Desert. And Mire has Dark Basement. So, and that's one of the main areas where you can save some time if you can see with the lamp. So yeah, this makes complete sense to do this first.
Yeah, it's just recognizing which dungeons are faster.
In what order?
Wait,
yeah.
Wait, let me take a double check this. Wait, what? Dying in Ice Rod Cave makes people crap. Oh, that's clever. I've never seen that before, and that's clever.
Wait, what are you talking about?
The blind text.
Oh, sorry, I didn't even read that.
Yeah. I was reading the blind text. I had to take a double take because, like, wait, did I see like Ice Rod Cave in that, and I had to read it back, and it was like, oh, that is clever. That's whoever wrote that whoever wrote that deserves a gold star.
Yep, and then I was seeing the Skullwoods play. Funny enough, we got Book on Helma a little bit ago, and that Book is completely useless, as Book normally is. It'll accomplish nothing for us. Even if we try to grab the tablets, we wouldn't get anything of any use. So, it's kind of another troll book that if this wasn't a spoiler, it would waste your time. Which is what the book normally does. So yeah, at this point, let's see. I'm trying to think of what else up until we get to. What if we have anywhere else where we might see some different decisions? Let's take a look at the spoiler log.
I honestly don't. I don't have the spoiler log with me, but I don't think there is anything.
No, it should be mostly linear at this point, and mostly about execution, and also just keeping an eye on where you need to go in each dungeon to pick up the various big keys or things you might need, or like monitoring your resources. So basically, it's just. But there shouldn't be like any big decisions of, what order to do dungeons, what safeties to grab. There shouldn't be a whole lot of that left at this point. So more just about resource management, good execution, and making sure you keep an eye on, like, what chests are open. What's in Tor Rock? What do we care about?
Also, Zoka had a really nice moth fight, so good job.
Nice. Seven out of 10. Tell us you're cruel. You don't make the scale. And GT, I don't know, not GTR. There'll be a couple safeties they could grab on Laser Bridge if they want to. That's one thing I'd be interested to see if any of them bother going for. I know I would, because I need the safeties. Also, one thing I'll also note, so I said one of our males was in pod in the back. The other one, I'm gonna mention it because I'm pretty sure no one's grabbing it, is on Stumpy. So if they had wanted to get the Stumpy mail, they would have done it probably after Thieves and then mirrored back to Vu and gone up to Skullwoods area. So the rest of this race, we're not gonna see any blue mail. This is it. Green mail all the way.
Yep, and this is basically as low percentage as you can get in terms of defense. Is in this particular spoiler.
Yeah.
So yeah, these runners know how to. These runners are skilled enough to that this is not really a big issue.
And that's a nice Mire layout. That's one of the best spots to see a big key in Mire. On the bridge is better if you can hover, but that's a nice big key spot. Well, maybe better. Similarly, that's a nice big key spot in Mire. There will be some more hearts that we can grab later out of like TR and maybe GT if you want to route it in, and some more potions. So that's what I'm anxious to see people route in. Outside of that, just besides more hearts, more bottles, there's nothing else to really route in that would be not totally out of your way at this point. Nice spookies by Zelga.
Alright, so we'll have a video fight for Zelga now. This is going to be very straightforward because you've got... You just put a bunch of silvers into the eyes, and there you go.
Super nice. So the only other place we're going to need silvers today is for the GT climb and Ganon, so... But there'll be arrows on the way up the climb. If not, smell spot to grab a pot, like, you'll be fine. In fact, there's also a pot of arrows, so I prefer Lamellus in Desert if they want to grab those. Or they could grab them out of other spots. Like, there's multiple spots in Desert to grab arrows. And in GT, so... and TR. So they got lots of opportunities to refill their arrows without even having to check any chests to see where arrows are at in the chests. They can pretty much just skip that and rely on pots at this point, which is really nice. To be able to do Myra early, use your silvers, and have an easy way to suck back up on arrows. This is either a small key or a big key. See, yep, there it goes, grabbing his arrows. Actually, did not know about that pot myself, so I am noting that.
And so look at the big key there. That was a big key, so. I think Zelka might go for that hook shot on the side on the second tower room, which I didn't know about until like Lana being shown me this. I think I think it was supposed to have been a match for the Glitch Mentor tournament. To the door frame, yeah, the projects.
Yeah, I know you're talking about, but when you have boots, it is a bit faster to just boot down. Barely, but
yeah,
I think that tech's more relevant. I mean, you have well, and even hookshot is probably about equal to just hookshot both of the pots. I'm curious what the timing differences between the strat you just said and just hooking the pots.
Yeah, I mean, this in the context of the boots, it is slower. But if you don't have the boots, it is optimal.
Okay, good to know.
It looks like it's by a few. It looks like it's slower by a few frames.
For your frames Vortex? Okay, that's good to know.
Interesting.
Oh, it actually is slower than diagonal. So you're saying Vortex that you just hookshot the top right pot. Okay. The way most people would. Well, actually, okay. That's not how I do it, but I will do that. Diagonal movement's better than hookshotting. I had heard that, but cool to see an actual spot where it proves it out. Good to know. Thanks for conforming. And yeah, Magnafish at Maya here too. Also gonna head up over to Turtle Rock. Actually, no, it has to do Desert still. My bad. We'll have to do Desert, but then very soon we'll back up to Turtle Rock where Zelga is heading right now. But yeah, definitely a nice fast seed. The only thing that's really bad about it is no mail upgrades. They're both too inconvenient to where it's massive time losses to get them if you're someone who can execute without them. So those who would be afraid to go without the mail will definitely have, a minute time loss, if not a little bit more. I'd say probably about a minute time loss if you grab the one on Stumpy, which would be the more reasonable mail to grab.
Alright. Zelga will head into Turtle Rock now, which no matter how you slice it, this is still slow. Like, Turtle Rock in general is just slow, even in spoiler.
Yeah, there's not. You can speed up some of the room clues, like how you killed the Pokies, and there's a couple little things to know, but nothing major. Yeah, not a whole lot. Yeah, Zelda here just needs to get there. Okay, Magnum went for a different strat there in that room that we talked about earlier in Desert. They did hook shot instead of dashing.
Okay, so Magno will do this. We'll try to put 3 arrows into the Lambos. Missed the first shot, but the second on the third one, but the second shot lands.
Yeah, that's a nice backup. That's tough to get because with all the lag you often get a Flammable. It can be hard to line up another shot because it's tough. It's actually really tough to get a backup arrow in that photo Lambless if you miss that first shot because of all the lag. It can be really tough to like. Because you have to play with the lag in that moment too, not just aim it. So it's like you have to like know the lag as well as like how to position or how the Lambless moves. So it's more impressive to be able to get the backup arrow shot that Magno did than to actually get the first one.
Yeah, and it also really depends on how long the Moldorm or the Lamoa is in the air, because you could try to go for that second shot, but it ends up being just a short hop and you have to waste time.
Yeah. Magno did get some better RNG for sure. Yeah, RNG that can make the second attempt just not possible. Hence why fourth attempt's what you want to go for. Also, it's faster, but you know. And yeah, we've already got Zelga went for the Poke Key Seal, which makes sense. We already have a big key. We have all the vital items we need. There's nothing that could be in big key chest that's of any worth to us. And we just gotta grab one more small key, which at this point will either be on Crystal Roller or in Laser Room. Or Laser Bridge, that's what people call it. Okay, last key's in Laser Bridge. So I was noticing that in Laser Bridge you have your small key, but 2 of the chests also have one of them has a heart container, and one has a green potion. I don't imagine them going for the green potion. You really don't need the extra magic, but we'll see if they go for the heart container while they're already on Laser Bridge grabbing the key. Or you could go, you grab the green potion, then you can really just spam like crazy. Yeah, so I would think they would go ahead and grab the heart. When you only have 4 hearts, you grab like if you have an easy heart like that, you get it. Yeah, it looks like Sylvia is going for the heart. Probably will skip the bottle though. Yeah, when you have if you didn't have half magic, I bet they would grab that green potion. But when you have the half magic and you have Silvers and Temple for Ganon, you're like, I can skip it. Oh, hey, yeah, that's also a good point. I forgot they have a blue potion still as well. Man, they have a blue potion as well. That's pretty nice. That's not too bad. I mean, you have to remember to like hit it in time if you need the health refill, because you can't. Certain things are just gonna one-hit kill you, or actually just Ganon, but 2 hits will kill you. A lot of things at this point.
Zelga going for the back attack strats, and does actually land a good couple hits on the fire one, and is able to get that first phase done quickly.
And Magno got unfortunate chain chop RNG, and he had to go for one of the less good like Mario block approaches for hitting the switches, and unfortunately messed it up. I can feel that pain. I get bad change up RNG and I have to go for like a different Mario block placement to work around it. It tends to go even worse for me than how it did for Magno. Magno almost had it there, but then he got some more bad RNG and for how he was walking to the chest. Really unfortunate, and with on the health they have right now, you know, it's really unfortunate.
Yeah, it's also one of the big downsides. It's that you are for stuff like this, you are very vulnerable, and if the RNG just does not want to cooperate with you, that will come to bite you.
Ooh, that Poke Bounce! That's cruel. Okay, that's even more mean than chain chops. The game's just being cruel with the way that Just bounce off the walls. I've never seen that. Oh my god.
And it looks like from what Vortex could gleaned was that this was Magno stopping the dash early and got hit for as a result.
Yeah, that makes sense, because, I mean, most people normally would dash all the way down to the ledge. So, like, you know, I'll say 4 tiles or so down, lower, whether you would have not gotten hit. So, it's... yeah. And, yeah, keeping for safety. And how far down Magno dashed that time was more what you would see people normally do. I bet Magno just saw the pokey and spot what the pokey normally isn't, and just probably, like, reacted and like, oh wait, there's a pokey, I need to be careful. And then unfortunately stopped the dash sooner than they would, and like terrible RNG then resulted. So I could, and now we got Big Key in map room, so now Zelda's doing the climb. 6 heart climb, by the way, no mail. We do have a blue potion, and you do have magic powder, but you really can't take hits here. Yeah.
You have to play a bit safe because you can't do the faster strat because of the fact that you're burning like 3 hearts, like 2 or 3 hearts there. Like dash it along the bottom spikes. That's what I would do. That's what I typically do in a race or like a normal race when you have like a whole second bar of health.
Yeah. We should also note that Zelda got a 6 heart container, a 6th heart off of the TR boss, so Trinex did play nice and gave us a heart container today. Nice. I'm just saying, and just skipping the health, totally fine for hearts. I would not be doing that. I would be trying my heart out to get that fairy. But Zelda's like, nah, I'm good. 4 hearts, that's what I need. And Magna making their way to Laser Bridge here. Should the small key will also probably grab that 5th heart container.
Yeah, you will get another heart anyway after defeating the boss anyway, so you will be effectively at 6 hearts. So it makes sense to get that 5th heart.
And 6 is doable because you can at least survive 1 hit for most things, you know, minus Ganon. So, like now, if a Chain Chop or a Pokey hit you, you would at least live. Not that those are relevant anymore, but it'll make the climb easier.
Alright, Magno just choosing to do the normal methods for taking out Trinex. I don't know how fast or slow the back attack method is.
Yeah, I don't know that either. I think, yeah, I don't know. With Tempered, I don't know if there's much of a difference. You gotta start attacking the left head. I don't know. You know what? I don't know. I know Golden Sword, if you can do it right, I believe it's faster to do the back. But if you don't have Golden Sword, I don't know. Also, Zelda made an interesting play there on the climb. So in Torches 1, it would have been faster normally to use the Fire Rod instead of the lamp, but it uses more magic. And then normally you're fine with doing Torches 1, Torches 2 with the Fire Rod because it's a lot faster, but using more magic. And then you get the magic refill in that room, you know, a moment ago that had all the anti-fairies in it and the, you know, magic refill. But Zelda made the decision here to use Lamp in Torches 1 so that they could conserve more magic and completely skip the magic refill. Because they're like, I got a blue potion and I probably don't even need the blue potion. I can save a little bit of time by skipping that potion, that magic refill, and they decided that was more worth their time than doing Fire Rod strats in Torches 1, which I think is interesting.
Now,
Torches 1 is faster to play.
Now, one thing I wish that Moldrum 2 had like a heart or something that would just something nice for Zelda to have. Just, but I guess because it wasn't anything.
Yeah.
Okay.
So 5.5 hearts going into. Oh wait, Magno is doing DM route. He's not doing DM route. He's going to DM room. Is he memeing for the? Is he memeing for the fillet? Wow, we got some memeing here on the stream. Wow.
Nice. So Zaga's gonna jump into Ganon now. And we said this earlier that this is definitely a very comfortable Ganon. Save, sure, you don't have green mail, you don't have you're on green mail, you only have 6 hearts. But this is very much comfortable for Zelga.
Yeah, he should knock this out. And as long as you don't have a Ganon hug, you can even take some hits here because you do have a blue potion if you get hit by like a bat, and now the bats are gone. So at this point, blue potion is useless except for the magic refill, which you don't even need because you have silver. So really, Zelga just has to pretty much not run into Ganon. He's not someone who's just gonna fall off. Like, he's not also someone who's gonna walk into Ganon for that matter. And Magno on his climb here with his all-important fillet. That's, gotta have that. Yeah, that's good to know though about Tortumon's actually faster with Lamp. That is interesting to me. Magno unfortunately taking a hit to one of the cannonballs, trying to conserve magic here. Actually, they were trying to go for, I think, for the NMG strat, and then couldn't quite get the pressure. But second try, you have invincibility from the fall. Makes it nice and easy.
Anyway, and yeah, GG's out to Zelga. Zelga will finish first on our restream with an official time of, well, it's a, when you don't factor in the 15 minutes of study time, it's a 46:20. Factoring in the 50 minutes of study time, it's a 101:20. First on restream and first overall.
Really impressive. I mean, we don't expect any less from Zelga, who's one of the top spoiler players, and just a great player in general. Always fun to watch him play. Yeah,
Zelga is like bar none one of the most well established runners in the community. Very well played from Zelga.
And I think Magno was hoping for some. They probably I wasn't watching, but they probably padded on the anti-fairy, which changed the landmolus movement. And it was harder to get the total landmolus, I'm imagining.
I'll see if we can get Zelga in for an interview. And Zelga is in the booth of us. We'll get him as soon as we can.
And we've had no other finishers yet, so Magno could still get second. Which second behind Zelga? I mean, honestly, like, Magno has played this really well and routed really well. He's overall played really well. I was fortunate, like, RNG reaction to the RNG and Total Lock. But overall, Magno has played really well and routed really well. And, has not grabbed the out-of-the-way safeties and is willing to take the risk. Magno's playing this really well. So, like, it's still gonna be a great finish time on Magno's end that most people would be ecstatic, like a time most people would be ecstatic to have.
Also, speaking of Zelga, we have him in the booth right now, and GG's.
Yo, GG's, thank you.
Yeah, that was a really well run race there. Well grounded and all that. What was the thoughts on this? Well, other than that, what's like the thoughts on like how the seed like presented itself when you looked at the log?
As I was going through the log at the end, I got through the log for the most part fairly quick. It seemed like this is a really free seed and also really awkward. Like the way, like I was basically in go mode before hitting the dungeon, so I never had to like sit and figure out like weird key routes to get items or anything. So that's what I meant by kind of free. But the awkward part was trying to figure out how I actually wanted to route everything. Like, Did I want to try and get the bow and Zelda cell? Am I going to skip it completely? Do I just get the boots and leave because I have no weaponry? Do I farm bombs? Do I like there were so many early questions about the order you want to do things that I felt like that's where all my real struggles were. Like I lost like a solid minute on Death Mountain because I made some bad routing choices about my bombs, and I missed that there were bombs in Hookshot Cave, which would have made everything free. But
What happened up there? I guess we weren't paying. I wasn't paying attention. What happened on Mountain?
I ended up only having 2 bombs when I climbed, and when I went to Mini Moldorm Cave, I realized I need 2 bombs for Hookshot Cave, but I'm going to use one here if I bomb jump. And so I was like, oh crap. So I ended up buying bombs after getting 300 in Paradox.
Oh yeah, I saw you go to that bomb shop, and my brain didn't even process that. Yeah, I remember that now. Yes.
Yeah. And then also, I went ahead back in through Paradox and climbed all the way to the top to use the Turtle Rock portal before remembering I've purposely skipped the hammer. So I need to jump back down and go in through the Super Bunny path.
Well, I didn't even notice, but now I feel silly I haven't noticed that. But yeah, it was unfortunate you had to go up Mountain without a hammer. I mean, that routing made sense in the scenario, because a lot better go to Potion Shop once you get the flute. But yeah, definitely not the way you want to have to route Mountain. So that's unfortunate.
Yeah, that was it, really. Like, honestly, I felt really good about my run after I started entering dungeons. Like, I was actually thinking mid-run, I don't know if I took an unintentional hit between Pod and GT, which is crazy to me, because that was my first dungeon. Like, I don't know if I've played the end game of a seed much better ever. So I'm really happy with how this went.
Your climb, I thought it was really impressive. And GG to Magna, by the way. I thought it was interesting how to me, it's impressive that you also are just fine with completely skipping the magic refill pre-Moldorm. Like, I could get why you do it. You didn't really need the magic a whole lot in this fight, but still, I could never do it. I'd be like, no, this is easy magic. I need this.
Yeah, with half magic silvers, I didn't feel too bad about it.
Yeah, it makes sense. Like, at that point, you had a blue potion if somehow you really messed up. But even without the blue potion, like, yeah, you had half magic. If you didn't have the half magic, then it would be a much tougher question. But it makes sense.
Yo, GG's.
Yo, GG's.
GG's, Magno.
Never touched my blue potion. No. I had 2 very questionable deaths in Turtle Rock.
Yeah, you
feels
want to talk
bad
about
getting sniped.
Yeah, that just chain chops RNG, like the RNG and chain chops, like to make you get to put the Samaria block where you did, and then how they wouldn't let you get to the chest, and then that pokey on the second way up. That's
I mean, that pokey hits you 1 out of 8 times, or even less. I mean, of course I could cape dash. I'm on 4 hearts, but I mean, no.
You don't expect it, yeah. Overall, though, you played really well.
That's 1 hit KO life. I felt the seed was super generous. Like, it was, here's a go mode in 10 minutes, and then do the dungeons. You could basically get, or do an overworld shopping tour, get all the items, and then here's a go mode, 4 hearts. Let's go.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was saying right before you joined. Is just like, to me it was free and also really awkward trying to figure out the right ordering to get all those items.
How did you start?
I went up to the castle and actually farmed a tier 3 with the uncle bombs as well.
Okay, me too. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It was so weird. Like, if you don't go to the castle immediately, it's like go to all of Kakariko without boots before doing that. But yeah, you had to get bombs somehow, and I was glad there was tier 3 for bombs.
Yeah, I was debating even just skipping that Zelda cell bow completely, but I couldn't justify it after I saw I had a way to get bombs. But if I got hit or something and messed up the tier 3, I might have just abandoned it.
Yeah, I was extra cautious not to get hit. Like, really waiting. No. Yeah.
Overall,
yeah.
you guys routed this more or less the same. There were a couple differences of how you guys did things, like some of the order of things at the beginning of the game. but like stuff that I would say is really inconsequential, like it didn't matter what order you did it in. In terms of
I
anything
forgot
was
that you need
meaningful.
the hammer for Spike Cave. That was a big
Oh.
time loss.
I did not notice that. Ouch. Ow. Yeah, that would hurt. I could see that happening though.
Yeah, and considering too that like between Magna between you were end up being third overall with like and like Madcap and Shire right next to you, like you're like in between those two finishes. Who knows if that may have been that might have been the result, but then who knows? Like we will never know. I mean, not saying that against Magna by any means, but yeah, those thoughts, those things can add up.
Yeah, definitely. And in spoiler, every second counts like 10 times or even more. Any little mistake just makes the difference. Because you can get, I mean, except you're Zerga, of course, you can make up so much with execution, and I wouldn't say that, like, I would say those runners were all better than me, probably, but yep. I would be curious to see how Madcap and Shire started. If they also got the Uncle Bombs and Castle.
Yeah.
Well, I don't have anything else to comment on unless Specs has something to add as well.
Trying to think. You guys all grabbed the exact same safeties, because I think the only one that was like maybe a little bit of argument was maybe the powder, but I mean it's on your way going to Kakarot Mountain to get the powder out of Bonk Rocks.
Yeah, I know my
People grab
limitations.
I mean, all the heart containers were terrible. There were 3 in GT alone, and things like Zora Ledge and
I just got the 2
Womp.
out of Turtle Rock and the 1 that was free somewhere.
Hookshot Cave. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, both the male upgrades. Like this game was really generous, like with offensive weapons and like item type safeties in terms of half magic and powder. But yeah, in terms of actual hearts and mail, it was very cruel.
Sega, did you also do pot without the lamp?
Yes, I did. I wanted the tempered sword before going to Moth.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, the rest was just Sphere Zero free checks. And you got a nice flute after that Hookshot Cave trip. So you could just do it in any order you want. Doesn't matter. That's when a late flute is when spoiler gets interesting, I would say. Because you have to combo more your checks, but yeah, overall it's GG's.
Oh.
Thanks for commentating and stuff.
Magno, I have one more question for you actually. I know what we should have. So you did Eastern before Pod. What was your reasoning on that?
I wanted tempered as well for just for the dark room terror pins. But yeah, I guess I had a hammer and fire rod. It wouldn't change that much. But I kind of wanted the tempered.
No, that kind of makes sense. I forgot that you were doing like Fire Rod Total Room. That makes some sense. Because I was trying to think like, why would he go to Eastern to Pod here? I mean, it's barely a time loss with the 2 mirror portals, but Total Room with Fire Rod, I can see that. That makes sense. Give yourself a little leeway. That's all I had. Yeah, that was a great race to watch. Overall, you guys both played super well. Great times. So thanks for the race, guys.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Yeah, thanks a lot. And GG's, thanks for putting on the restream. And yeah, GG's everyone in the race. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I guess now that that's all said and done, be sure to give both Magno and Zelga a follow. They put on an incredible race for everyone to see. Now, as far as Link to the Past Randomizer Daily is concerned, our next one is going to be at 11 p.m. Eastern Time for all Dungeons Key Sanity. You know, that's always a fun mode, and heck, it's in a way related to the tournaments, and with it being just regular 80 keys, not the tournament fad keys with the not just the 2 small keys and Castle Tar, but the JT Bakey and GT. Which and then tomorrow, or then actually not tomorrow, but on this weekend will be the second and final weekends that we will have live qualifiers for the Link to the Past Randomizer main tournament. So if you have yet to get your qualifiers in, make sure you do that now. This will be over the remaining 3 modes of the main tournaments. And then we have one more week of Link to the Past Randomizer dailies before the main tournament starts up. From there, the main tournament will take up the majority of Link to the Past Randomizer contents until around I would say the second round of groups or second round of brackets. It's not really set in stone yet, but rough estimate. But yeah, so let's go ahead and put the commands out as well. That we also want to thank our one tracker, that's Lady Lauren and Linda, and then I was joined by Specs, awesome runner by the way, and also an awesome commentator. It was great to get in the booth with you.
Thanks, Victor. I had a great time. Thanks for having me on with comms today.
No problem. So yeah, with that all said and done, I hope you enjoy it, and make sure you look at the schedule for anything new and exciting coming up. And yeah, I'll see you. We'll see you then.